All right, so let's get started. So welcome everyone to the session Beyond the Hype AI for Today and What It Might Do Tomorrow in the conference Tracker Digital Transformation. So let me introduce you to the speaker, Frazier Pruitt. So Frazier is a quality supervisor at Corning Inc. In Rochester, New York area. In 2021, he was recognized as a Quality Progress 40 Under 40 honoree, and in 2024, he was named the Rochester Engineering Society's Young Engineer of the Year. He earned a bachelor's degree in engineering, electrical mechanical engineering from Rochester Institute of Technology, and holds an MBA from Kelley School of Business at Indiana University in Bloomington, and the Alliance Manchester Business School in the UK. He's a senior member of ASQ. He's a ASQ certified quality engineer and a Six Sigma black belt. Before joining the session, so just want to let everyone know it's a 45-minute session. Fraser will cover 35 to 40 minutes, and then we'll have at least 5 to 10 minutes for Q&A. If you have any questions, post it in the chat. I'll note down the questions and ask Fraser at the end. And Fraser, the floor is up to you.
Thank you very much, Paul. All right. So who uses AI? I didn't make a poll or anything, but you guys can plug it in the chat. Anybody used it today? Not today.
Lots of S's.
Okay. Yeah. So we got a lot of people using ChatGPT, or some ChatGPT, probably a little Copilot. Yep. All right. So if you've got a lot of experience in this, I hope that I'm sure there's still something you're going to take from this presentation, but I kind of want to start it from the ground up. And if you need definitions of LLMs and all of those things, I might mention those, but you can try to check out Michael's presentation from earlier today. He kind of broke down the groups and the categories really nicely. So this is a great conference. So make sure you check out those other speakers. But I've got 37 slides and only 43 minutes left. So let's light this candle. All right. I'm going to hit you with a point. Here's the point. AI can support quality, and it's not going to replace people. Your expertise is still what drives quality forward. But we can use it. All right. That's the end. Somebody uses Quincy. I like that. Okay, we're going to talk about that too. All right, so this is the main point. If you thought about catching another presentation, you can go over and hit it if this is all you need. But I'm going to break this down a little bit for you. How is it going to support quality? Where are we today? What's going on? And wanted to talk about the hype, because we got AI in the news just constantly, everywhere, different people talking about it, and it gets a little crazy. And I think we can give a way to think about this that'll calm us down, but also still keep us aware. Then we'll talk about AI today, what we're doing, making the grade. We're going to talk about some applications in quality. And the part will be a little hypothetical, but we'll talk about where it can work, where it can't. We'll give some letter grades on where it might be able to help you. And then we'll get some practical stuff. So AI as your partner. And we'll talk about some root cause and some SOPs. It's just as two examples that I want to make sure that everybody that attends here today has a tool to use their AI as soon as they leave. And we're going to get some good prompts, and we're going to get some ways of thinking about things. And I'm really excited. Does that sound good to everybody? See some chats. If you put questions in there, I might catch them, because I can actually see all my screens. It's kind of unusual. I'm very excited. All right. Okay, beyond the hype. So it's in the news. We got lots of AI stuff in the news. How much is to be believed? That's going to be our real foundational question. And so let's take a look at that. Okay, just this week, we found a headline. In recent layoffs, AI role may be bigger than companies are letting on. Okay, so we're talking about AI today. We're talking about layoffs, things that are scary. And this might be true, might not, but let's take a step back. Let's go back about 2 years and check out the news headlines there and see if anybody still recognizes those. All right. Okay, so we got February 14th in 2023. Optimus unveiled. Does anybody remember this? Elon Musk's robot, autonomous robot, supposed to have AI. Yep. Nope. Don't remember. Anybody else?
Yes, I do remember.
Oh, we got one. Okay. Okay. Chat's about 50-50 right now. So, does anybody have one of these? Anybody ever seen one? That answer is going to be no, right? So, this was kind of a flop. Maybe he was just trying to grab some attention. Maybe it's the technology was developed and it'll be used in other ways, this and that. But it didn't change the world. Okay, AI is coming for your job. ChatGPT renews fears. This was ABC Matt Zane article, same day in 2023. Um, Anybody been replaced by AI yet? I don't think so. There's some applications where it's really getting used well, but I don't know. And that little robot thing, apparently we got one in Rochester. There's a one place where it'll serve you and it brings out your food. But most places I still go still have wait staff, and I still tip them, and everything's good. But maybe in the future, yeah, I saw it in Canada. All right, here's the big one. Okay, this one's even from the BBC. A little bit later in the end of March in 2023, AI could replace equivalent of 300 million jobs. Anybody know how many jobs are in the U.S.? I figure most of us are in the U.S., not all of us. Yeah, there's I think one, I didn't double check the accuracy of the number, but 168 million. So 2 times the U.S. workforce could be replaced by AI. Well, look, if that might be true over the next 100 years, but it's not going to be true in the next 6 months. It wasn't true in the last 2 years. We do see technological shifts. We can, if we look at agricultural societies, back before the Industrial Revolution, 90% of our population worked in agriculture, and now it's like less than 5% work in agriculture. So, are all of those people are unemployed? No, we found other things to do. And found other ways to be productive and hopefully be more productive and create more human flourishing than we did when we were all trying to pick potatoes and harvest crops and do sharecropping and things that just were necessary but not efficient. So we find new ways. I think that's what we're going to see with this AI. I'm not seeing it abrupt anymore, but let's stay up to keep our skills up just in case we need it. All right. So the news isn't the only one getting on board with these crazy headlines. There are some tech people that are just like in a race for the wildest quotes, and they get pretty fantastic. AI is the new electricity. Andrew, he's a technologist that people listen to. Okay, so that's pretty bold. New electricity was huge in the Industrial Revolution and such. Good. AI is likely to be either the best or worst thing to happen to humanity. Elon Musk. Oh wow, okay. Now we're just making clickbait, right? Even Mark Zuckerberg gets in on this. We are entering a world where we will learn to coexist with AI, not as its masters, but as its collaborator. What is going on? All right. I think that's wild. And then Elon Musk has to top them all. He says, AI is a fundamental risk to the existence of human civilization. I don't know. I don't see it yet. I don't think we have a Skynet situation, but we'll see. I think Frank's got a good point about how much electricity it uses. Maybe that's probably the biggest risk right now, rather than some sort of sentient AI taking over the world. So it's hype, but there's some real stuff here too. So maybe we can get around to that. it sets unrealistic expectations. It makes some people worried, and it makes other people worried that they're missing something in their work. Like, oh, is there something I should be doing? And there's a little bit you should be doing, but we'll get to that. So we exaggerate the opportunities and capabilities, and that goes on both sides. Makes us worried we're not performing enough. Also makes us worried that we'll get replaced. Fear-based narratives sell magazines and books and news and everything else. So I don't think we have any magical automation that's happening just yet. I'll talk a little bit more about these AI experiments in writing and some significant limitations in the AI. They didn't. We'll get more into that, but I did some testing myself, and I'll share that with you. And so, in the end, it's easy to overestimate AI's standalone utility. It doesn't do anything by itself, but that's why we're going to tie people back into this, and then we're going to be more useful. So, all right, what's the real story? Okay, so I don't think we have Sky, and I don't think that the robots are coming to take over anything just yet. And why is that? Because AI gets it wrong a lot, and people use it wrong. This is a picture from a prompt, wiener dog races. All right, that's what AI makes. Just let that sink in. Taking over the world today? Don't think so. Okay, so just to be fair, these these could have been real AI fails from an early version. I can't get it to mess up this bad anymore. I'm sure if you try enough, you can, but these might have been prompted to be hilarious. But I'm going to give you a couple examples that are real. And so the takeaway we're coming up on is AI makes errors and it doesn't notice. Okay, that's the thing. People can make errors and then they kind of notice and they're like, oh, something doesn't look right. AI is like, no, that was it. Or you tell it was wrong and it's like, oh, of course it was wrong, and it just believes you. It's just silliness. So I asked it a Copilot I was using, and it was this year. Create an image of people holding hands with interlaced fingers. Okay, did it, but that's a pretty funny something's wrong with those hands. Okay, now this might not be fair because as soon as AI was starting to make images, we knew that it didn't do hands well. So that was kind of my go-to. I just knew there's always too many fingers or not enough fingers or hands coming out of the wrong places. But there you go. So not perfect. They said, oh, what about just create image of people holding hands? I'm like, okay, there we go. It's a little better. Not it doesn't have the crazy finger thing, but there's something else wrong. something's going on. And I think there's other things to draw from these examples. I mean, obviously there's a kid's missing a head, and his elbows kind of look like knees. I'm not sure what's going on, but it tells us what this AI was trying to do. There's a lot of things it got right. The sky is very nice. The lighting, shading seems right. It was trying to not let the kid in the front block anything. So it was trying to create a nice picture. So that's what it was trying to do. But then to do that, it took the kid's head off. So that's weird. But and then there's another thing that I'm not going to get too much into biases in the AI, but that's something to watch. And if you notice, neither of these prompts asked for explicit diversity. But this AI kind of seemed to believe that was what was expected. And this is based, it could be a tuning in the algorithm that helps create these, or it could be that the feedstock, if it's based off of all these free share images that people use in their presentations and trainings people use, they like to use diverse casts of people in offices and stuff, and inspirational photos, and this fits that. So if those are the things that are used to create it, that's what comes out. Now you can edit the prompts and get it to adjust the way you want it to, but this just gives us some real insight into what's going on and what we can expect from AI. All right, so let's get some more objective evidence here. This is testing data, giving AI GPT-4 and GPT 3.5. So it's not the brand new stuff, but they tested at the bar exam, the LSATs, GREs, graduate testing, some AP tests, and boy, it does pretty good. It does pretty good. Hopefully, you guys can read those. And 3.5 improved a lot to GPT-4. So the bar exam went from the 10th percentile, which was kind of good that you could answer any questions, and all the way to the 90th percentile. GRE verbal was in the 99th percentile for GPT-4. So it's getting smarter. It has a wide base of knowledge. So we're talking chemistry, literature, calculus, math, other maths, LSAT, that's medical, right? Bar exam, so law. This and it kind of did well at all. Sommelier, that's the wine stuff, right? You have to be the wine expert. A 92nd percentile for introductory sommelier. Pretty good, pretty wide. But the other thing is that we saw a lot of 90 percentiles. That's really good, but it's not better than your expert. It's not perfect. These are students. These are tests we give to students. And the top 1% would be very, very hard. So, and then comparatively, it kind of had trouble with the AP literature and composition. Now, I talked with a couple educators and said that there might be a couple reasons for that. One is that the test questions aren't perfectly clear because there's kind of some assumptions built in that you need to take. But then you also have to do a lot of synthesis and critical thinking, taking different things and feeding them back together. And the AI had trouble with that. It wasn't terrible at it. It's still the 22nd percentile for literature and composition, but and 44th but it didn't really pass the AP English exams. So interesting. GRE verbal in 99th percentile, but the composition is a little different. All right. So I told you about that. We did some experiments on this and with that writing, and I wanted to see. I thought that a lot of things we do in quality are a lot of the things that we do when we try to write. So I made the AI write an article for me, and with permission from some editors at Quality Progress, we submitted it to the peer review, and it did not go well. So the first thing we wrote, we got some comments back, and I did a little analysis on those, and there was two main categories of redundancy and superficial content. Those were the biggest problems. So here's the quote. I have never read a manuscript with more repetition of the same ideas and even the exact statements. Superficial content. The content was not well developed. Few specific examples of AI applications are provided except for being mentioned in passing. All right, so it got roasted. It was not accepted. It was not good enough. And if you want to check that article out, it's in the repository over at Quality Progress, October 2023. And the article that is published there is an analysis and breakdown of that failure and what we can do to improve. But the main points were that AI, the GPT-3 wasn't ready. I was trying to write a 2,600 word article, and it just couldn't think that far out, and that's why everything got really repetitive when I asked it to draw everything out, and then it didn't come up with good examples to fill those in, and it just didn't work. But you can check that out if you want to see more about that. But I don't give up that easily. So AI is getting better, just like we saw in those test scores, and how we use AI can get better. So we did a second attempt at this. That one turned out to be AI and quality management. It's an article. We have improved technology. So GPT 3.5 gave longer responses. It had a better context window. It could understand more, and that helped to get a little bit more complicated thought process in there. Still not amazing. And then it also had GPT-4 for plugins, so we could search the internet, get real-time data instead of old data from when the AI was trained, and we could search for studies and papers to cite. All right, a little bit backwards, but it worked. It worked. And then we improved how we used it. So I managed it a lot closer. I really tightened down the sections when I asked it to write and said, just write these, just write this section, and then I lace them together. And tighter control the summaries. So anytime it tried to re-summarize everything, I cut it out unless it was the appropriate time to do a summary. And then it was accepted. So and the article's got a couple decent ideas in it on its own about AI and quality management. So that it's standalone. It's okay. It's not perfect, but you can find that one in August 2024. So what's our takeaway? We're just trying to get this understanding of what quality is and or what AI is and how we can use it to quality. AI is a clever university freshman or a clever college senior, right? That we see that in the test scores. It's objectively smart. It just is. Not brilliant, but it's pretty smart. It's not better than experts. It gets the 90th percentile, not the 99th. And after you've been doing something in your job for 20, 30 years, you probably are in that 99th percentile, especially as we grade and judge against students, right? So it's going to be hard to replace where that expert really comes in. It does have a little bit of trouble with that complex critical thinking, also multimodal things. If you've got information coming from different places, it can handle images now, but still just pulling in different things. So it can make mistakes. It can leave the heads off children. It's very unsettling. Separate than making mistakes, it can hallucinate, where it just starts making. It's not mistaken. It's just making complete craziness up. That can happen, and it can get distracted. It can start kind of answering the wrong question, depending on how confused you get it. So those are things that can happen and things that I found through that writing process. Okay. So all that said, let's rank some of these and see how it can do in some quality functions. And how do we do? Okay, so this is another article. You can find this one November 2024 in the expert answers right at the beginning of the quality progress. And let's just get into it. So internal auditing. The article says that it's an F. A now friend of mine, he reached out, didn't even know him, Michael Fank, reached out and said, Frazier, I think you got the internal auditing wrong. And he made a couple really good examples. So I pushed that one up to a B-. But so we can automate repetitive tasks, searches, and summaries of information. So if you have good data sets, you can put them into the AI and have it summarize, find the points. We'll do some examples later. So I'm trying to get through this part, and then we'll see how those examples really work. But we can detect patterns and anomalies in large data sets. It's pretty good at that. You could just feed it CSV files of your data, and it can. Don't do that yet. I have some warnings later. But it can sort through that and find patterns and find which dates were things out of control, sort of thing. You can organize and draft reports from detailed notes. So this is really where I start to use it a lot. I can take messy notes, and as long as they're typed, I could take transcripts. Oh, yeah, I could take transcripts from if I'm doing auditing virtually. I can ask my software to record the transcript, and then I can feed the transcript in, and I can get information out of that. So it just saves time. I didn't ask it to do any thinking yet, but I said summarize this, tell me what happened, how did people respond to that, help me write up my report with all of my information. You just make complete sentences and make sure that it's clear, and then you got to check it. But in auditing, there's still a huge problem is it doesn't have that complex of thinking. It really doesn't, other than the rudimentary, did your gauge fail? And so that's probably a finding. But the real nuanced looking at clauses and seeing if you are able to um, figure out really arguing whether that section is fulfilled or not, or if that clause is completed. It's going to give you an answer, but prefer my trained internal auditors. All right, calibration. This one was a solid D. It turned in the assignment, but it didn't do very well. Not really passing. It could give you a decent idea on calibration intervals. It'll just base that off of random information that it's been fed, which is based on something, but you won't quite know what. But you could also alert users to usage patterns. Again, once that's that integrated thing, so it's a little bit future looking. My problem with calibration is that I'd rather have validated algorithms. I want I want the real math. Doing my MSAs or my other calibration work, I don't want it kind of doing its fuzzy thinking for my solid gauges, and it just doesn't work for me yet. Reporting can get interesting. I'm going to say automated delivery like 2 times in this one, but this AI has this potential. I didn't figure out how to do this one just yet. It's got to get connected into some data sets, maybe when it gets connected into Power BI, because we're already using that to share information. That's going to be a really interesting point to say, who does this information need to be sent to? And right now we can tell Power BI to send information based on quantitative results. Is it above this or below that? But we might be able to find things that change or things that are interesting, out of control, qualitatively in the future using AI. And so I'm very excited about that. I can sort of do that right now with a news search, because ChatGPT, for example, has the ability just to do a offline run. It runs every day. And so I asked it to look for certain things in the news and report them to me. So it finds the most interesting quality news around the world and then records that. I can go check it out anytime I want. And then I can see what it was on previous days. So it's that sort of reporting thing that's going to be available to us in the future. It's going to be able to condense in reports and again, the distribution. Just again, this is a big, it's to reduce the manual effort. I don't think it's going to do too many things better than people, but it's going to be able to do it fast. It could do it in the middle of the night, and won't cost you any heads in labor. Data analysis is an interesting. So it can identify patterns. It support decision-making, problem solving. This morning, William was talking about using it to create control charts. I think we could definitely use it for this qualitative type control chart, a qualitative type SPC. If you have qualitative data sets that we couldn't process that before, and now we can. I'm very excited about that. I will be trying the real control chart SPC things with the ChatGPT. I didn't come into today thinking that was quite up to par. Again, when I want math, I want repeatable algorithms. because I really want to know. I don't know if it's really picking 3 Sigma to evaluate or if it's going to do something funny. But that said, if you are not great at data analysis or you don't know where to go at it, there are some huge opportunities because this will do it. It will take your data set and find interesting things about it. You can get in there and map it out. If you're an expert in data analysis and you already use Jump and you use Minitab and those things, you might not want AI doing it for you. But if that's not you, if you're new to this, somebody else that just got this data and they don't even know how to set a graph up in Excel, well, then AI is amazing. It's going to visually represent it. You can ask for interest. Which data points should I look at? Where do you think there was a process change? It will try that and it will give you decent answers. I just like my math at that point, but that's me. So for the right people, this is huge. Maybe if you start working with non-normal data sets and you don't know the math to handle that, then you can ask GPT to what math should we be using, and can you map that across my data? And it's going to do it. So where we can use it though is if you got some simple data processing, things that you want to be able to do overnight, things that you want done every hour. This is going to be able to help you do that. Just make sure that you give it oversight if anything's really important. Again, yeah, and then visualizations, hypothesis generation, all of those things for people that aren't that don't want to do it themselves. All right. Document control. This one I'm super excited about. Maybe it's because I can't stand document control. Anybody like document control? The chat. Anybody a big fan? I mean, I'm a big fan of having document control. I just don't want to do it myself. Right? Okay. So what can this do? I actually saw somebody at World Conference, a vendor. I don't remember the name now, but it looked like they were doing this. I can't confirm that it worked, but it's super cool. Streamline tasks like converting notes, reorganizing, comparing documents. Okay, we can do that in AI, and I do that. But we can reduce manual efforts or repetitive tasks like changing the header and changing the rev, or changing CEO to general director in all of your documents or something like that. Sometimes we can use find, search, and replace, but other times, if the revs are all messed up, then you would just want to up rev them all one. Well, find and replace is not going to do that unless you do it 26 times or more. So there's some really cool opportunities there. Wouldn't that be neat that you just say, hey, this is the new version we want, update the revs and the dates, and right as it goes into the system, you don't have to touch it. I don't know. Doesn't sound like a lot, but it would make me really happy. Then there's a future side to this one too. Document control of using AI and having it understand all of your data. So somebody brought up Quincy earlier, and how do you like Quincy? And I haven't tested Quincy on all of these types of things yet, trying to do stuff, but Quincy's great at looking stuff up and asking it for information on how do you do a 5Y. Brilliant, because it's trained on good data. And it's trained on all this stuff from Quality Progress and ASQ.com, ASQ.org. And imagine if you did that with all of your information at work, and you could just ask it, so how do I calibrate this gauge? Well, you don't have to find the document and this and that. It's going to find the document for you and then give you the information based out of yours information, hopefully not making anything extra up, because you get it tuned and created that way, and it'll tell you what to do. It'll say, maybe you're auditing. I said, what is the procedure on the dock? And it'll give you the procedure number. What is the shipping receiving supposed to do when they get a package? It'll give you the list. It'll tell you exactly what's happening. And so it's right there at your fingertips. You don't have to open the document. You don't have to look for it. You don't have to know where it is. You just ask it what you want to know, and it gives it to you. Again, a little bit future focused, but not that far. Because things like Quincy have already shown this can work, and we just need to get our organizations caught up and make sure that it's worthwhile. All right, training programs,
How are we doing,
another
Sean?
one.
Time
Yeah.
is 2:34. We have 5 more minutes to jump into Q&A.
Okay, we'll get you guys can find me on LinkedIn, ask questions. We got to finish this. Okay, training programs A plus. People already use this. You can create scripts. You can even create video and images. It can just take your documents and create training stuff. I also like to use it to bring in Bloom's taxonomy and Kirkpatrick's feedback rules to it, so I can make the training better and not just create it faster. But creating training faster is okay too. So again, not always the best, maybe the most important training. You don't use AI with a fake AI voice and fake AI figure, but maybe some of the rudimentary stuff you do. Learning outcomes. Okay, the future, connected data through and through, corrective action, preventative action. This is where there's some huge opportunities. If your data set, if the AI, just like your document control, can go through everything and remember and know how you fixed problems in the past, how many parts have been shipped, all of that information, it's going to be able to monitor customer complaints, identify trends. It's going to be able to do that all day and all night, and it's going to really open up some opportunities. Again, this one's really future focused. It's going to have to be all connected. It's all going to have to be a little bit smarter than it is now. But I'm excited about this in the future, and you can check out more in the article, expert answers. But I want to finish this. Sorry, I just got so excited today, guys. Takeaway: AI is here for today. Is here for quality today and tomorrow. So you can summarize brainstorming, writing task, recognize patterns, but it can work around the clock. And in the future, it's going to be integrated and really help you in your problem solving. All right. So I promised that we would talk about some things that you can take away today. You might already be doing some of these, but some people might not. So I want to make sure everybody can use AI today. Okay. What about quality? Okay. Safety first. We're going to talk about safety with your data safety and making sure that you're following good hygiene. We got root cause generating ideas. We're going to go through these super fast, and then SOPs, first drafts. All right, that might sound obvious, or like, Frazier, that's a terrible idea, but we got some prompts. We're going to make it useful, not perfect, but good. Okay, safety first. Know your organization's policies. You don't want to run afoul. You don't information that you put into an LLM, large language model like GPT, Claude, Grok, any of those may not be secure. I don't personally think that they're using that to retrain models. I think they use it to learn, just like web searches. I don't think there's anything nefarious, but if you've got information that needs to be secure, don't put it in there. Not worth it. I could very easily be wrong as much as I could be right. So, but know your organization's policies. Don't put anything in there you wouldn't want shared. Information, there you go, maybe not be shared. Results can infringe on copyright, so be careful what you produce with it. And maybe check it for plagiarism if you're creating articles or something with the help of AI. And follow some other good things, like really use it to develop ideas and don't just take the first output that it gives you. Again, if you're just doing an internal document, maybe you're not too worried about it. But if you're publishing something, you start putting stuff on the outside, outward-facing websites of your organization, you don't want that to happen. Also, AI makes mistakes, so you got to proofread. AI also asks you questions at the end of prompts, so you got to make sure you take those out, so you're not the person that sends your people that write college papers and they send it in and it says, "Do you have any more questions? I'd be happy to help," and it's in the middle of the essay, right? That's just embarrassing. Don't do that. But here are some better ways that we can use it. If you want to get in on this right now, you can go to chat.openai.com. You can get into Quincy. So that's that little guy in the upper left-hand corner, upper right-hand corner. You can click on him right inside and use your login for asq.org. You could also just make up a login if you are not a member, so you can get in there. You could also check out Gemini, Open Copilot, Claude 2, or Gronk. Right, that's pretty much the big ones right now. Okay, so what are my tips? Oh my gosh, you guys are gonna have to make sure you download this presentation so you can get these. It's we're gonna go fast. Ask it to act as, right? That's everybody's recommendation because it works. It focuses the LLM and the AI to kind of give you a response that you're expecting. You act it to ask like a quality manager, it does better. A data scientist, you ask it to act like a teacher, it's going to give you a little bit different answers, and but you'll start to know what to expect, and I think you'll like the results. Keep the instructions short. AI does best when it's kind of doing what it wants to. You directed it, but it's when you start getting specific, it starts breaking down, and it's slowly, and the more specific you get, the more and more it starts to slowly break down. So if you guys are okay, I'm going to run this right to the last 5 minutes, and we'll cut out. And but please reach out on LinkedIn or in the app here, and I will answer any questions I can. Keep it short, break down larger. Always check your results. All right. Okay. So how are we going to do this thing? Idea generation. What might cause blank? What might cause rust on my stainless steel parts? What might cause people not to pay attention? Whatever root cause problem you have. I don't think we're going to answer the root cause, but we can use it for idea generation. Somebody brought up Bono's 6 hats earlier. That great idea. Now generate 10 more possibilities, because it probably gave you 3 or 10 the first time, but I want a bunch of ideas. Okay. Now let's organize those into an Ishikawa fishbone categories. Right? You might be able to ask it to make the chart for you. You could see if that works for you. I haven't tried that yet. But now you got categories, and now you've got a whole starting point that might have taken an 1.5 hour brainstorming session, and you still want to do your brainstorming session, but this might, you might have cut an hour out of it. All right, more ideas, less reliable, but how might I narrow these down? If you really don't know how to break them down, you're starting to ask the AI for things that it might not know the answers to. So you're getting more likely to be wrong, but which of these are most likely? It'll probably give you a reason, and if you like the reason, go with it. If you don't like the reason, don't. But this is that iterative. Ask it questions, see what it says. Treat it like another person a little bit. What else is needed to determine the root cause? I kind of like that one, because then it says, oh, maybe if you have rust on your stainless, maybe you can use copper sulfate and find out if it was a passivation problem. How can you test these possibilities for root causes? So it gives you some more ideas. Okay, creating SOPs. You could just ask it to write an SOP. You'll be surprised. For packaging instructions, write me a SOP or work instruction for packaging. Wow, it's going to have a lot of the good stuff in there. It's going to have a lot of good junk, and you're going to need to fix it.
Sorry.
And then we can use these notes to detail. Also, then you say, okay, so I like the outline, but I need you to, here's some information I do know about our policy and our process. Add those to it. It'll add it. You'll be really impressed. Check out, change the clauses to fit this format. I didn't like the way you set it up. So then you tell it to, you could say, analyze this document for the format, use this type of style. You can have it analyze one of your other ones, and then recreate the SOP. These are going to get a lot of writing done really fast. They're going to be wrong. You have to fix them. You got to edit, but it's going to save a bunch of time, and you might like it. More prompts at work. Rewrite at a 5th grade reading level, because you need everybody to be able to read this. It's not mean. It's really good at that. What might I be missing? Do these instructions have any conflicting requirements? Other AI use prompts. Summarize discussion and transcripts, so like we talked about when you got things saved. Transcript saved. Find the owners and due dates. It's pretty good. Check it soon after you do it. Respond to this email. I use the Gemini in my Google app to build email responses. I tell it what direction I want to answer it, and it does a great job. Translate into Spanish, Mexican Spanish, right? It's not going to be perfect, but it's way better than the old translates where they're just switching words out. Outline steps of flow chart for this SOP, something like that. So ask it questions, work side by side to complete tasks. Always check your work, but let it do the tedious task. Keep it simple and iterate as needed. So in the end, AI will not replace you, but somebody that uses AI might. And this is quoted by Galloway, Romney, and a whole number of other people. It's broadly smart, but it can't compete with experts. Quality is no exception. So you guys are the experts. You just use it to do the tedious stuff. Outsourcing your low impact high time activities so you can be more efficient and create real value, because I know you can do that. Try things, practice, follow the expanding technology envelope. It's going to get better. You can follow along with it.
Sorry,
I am
Fraser.
really excited. Thank you, everybody. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I ran that fast through the end of it. If anybody wants more, hopefully you can get a hold of this presentation. If you can't, reach out to me. It's a W Frazier, Frazier. There's my email address. Take a picture. Find me on LinkedIn. I will share anything I can with you. We could set up more presentations when I'll give myself at least 50 minutes and we'll do okay. Goodbye and thank you.
Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, Fraser, for a wonderful insight. And if you have any questions, if you cannot reach out to Fraser, I put my email address in the chat. Please reach out to me. I'll make sure to forward it to Fraser, and we can get your answers in the ShowCat platform. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, Fraser.